morning, Grind Gang. What is up? What is up, man? Today we are in the office. Not a lot going on. I'll just be doing a lot of editing on the Keith Harvey music video. We turned the whole living room into a green screen studio. Got to shoot that. Hey guys, I kind of failed you. We were using the camera to shoot the music video. I wasn't able to get a lot of behind the scenes footage of that shoot. But I guess this is a good time to put a shameless plug that you should follow me on Instagram, at RtP on Instagram. Man, that is where usually, if you want this kind of content, you really want to see what's going on behind the scenes, you really got to check out my Instagram stories. I'm usually posting little tidbits throughout the day, and like I said, behind the scenes of what's going on here, and talking, doing a lot of what you see here on the vlog. A lot of happens in real time on my Instagram stories and Instagram live. So definitely follow me at RtP. Like I said, I wish I could bring this to you, and soon we will. We're gonna buy us a whole nother camera, and that way we'll have a behind the scenes camera and the actual camera we're using to shoot campus clever videos and music videos, and then we'll have one that's just dedicated to the blog. So either way, I hope you'll go check out my Instagram and then follow us along on the stories. But in the meantime, guys, today as I was waking up this morning and doing my meditation, I really was thinking about this idea that I think is fundamental to the law of attraction, or using any universal law just to be able to manifest your reality, your dreams, your life. There's something that you fundamentally have to understand about the way the world works and how we work in the world, right? And what I'm getting at is that we are mental beings, right? So like everything that we are and do is controlled between our brain and our heart, brain and our heart. Wait a minute. Our brain and our heart. It's controlled through those. And I say the heart too because, they've done studies to show that the heart actually has like an intelligence built into it as well. It does things independently of the brain without brain signals and things. So either way, your heart has a certain spiritual intelligence to it as well as your brain does. But really, in reality, on a scientific level, your brain, you think about it, is in control of how you feel and touch things, how you see, the depth perception that you have. It's control of all of your sensories. And what it does is it takes all these little light particles in from whatever, and it constructs the reality that you see right now and interact with, right? So everything starts at your brain. At your mental state will create your entire reality, Everything that you experience on a day-to-day basis first has to come in through here, be filtered, and then projected out into, through your eyes, essentially, through your senses, So how is that important, right? Well, once you start to fundamentally understand that idea, you can understand, well, I'm in control of this filter, Like I get to decide how this filter filters, what does it filter, when does it, what does it do and how does it operate? I get to control that story. I get to control this tool that I have to shape this world, right? And so always look at the world, the earth, this gigantic little bubble that we get to live on that just works perfectly. It's like a blank canvas for us, right? It's just there like if you're a video game player, it's the level, You get to decide what happens on that canvas. You get to paint that picture. You get to play the game however you see fit, right? And so we very rarely, as we're going through life, have to worry about manipulating that canvas, right? What we have to do is we have to manipulate our mind to portray onto that canvas what we want. So all of that goes into saying, guys, start to study this idea of your subconscious mind and how that really relates to the world and creates your perspective. That's what it all is. It's your perspective, your paradigm, the reality in which you live in is constructed all in here. It's all based on your beliefs, your desires, the little things that God gave you that he didn't give to anybody else, your talents, your gifts, all of that will shape how your reality is. But there isn't a real one set reality, plane or anything like that. We all construct that idea of what is real in our own mind. And the great part about that is in your mind is limitless. We're talking about just using your imagination, which is limitless. So don't ever try and box that up, Use that imagination to the grand, to as far as you can take it. As far as you can take it, that is possible for you because, like I just said, fundamentally everything that we create comes from our mind, big or small. It knows no difference. So if you can see it in here, if you can create it in your mental scope, right? You can project that out into the world as reality, you know? But at first you have to believe it, construct it, you have to become it in your paradigm, in your mental state, and then you can filter this world to look exactly the way you see it in here, you know? So it's happening whether you believe me or not. You know, if you're like, oh Rod, you don't know what you're talking about, you're just rambling. No, it's definitely working all the time, nonstop. Like I said, everything you see is being built and constructed in your mind. You know, they've actually said studies. I used to watch a show called Brain Games. I used to love it. It's really cool. They would do things where they play little tricks on your subconscious. But I remember them talking about how, you know, there's a certain, you know, millimeter fraction of a time. I mean, it was like down to like the 100th zero of just fraction of a second though, where light comes into your eye and your brain has to process that. And then so in a sense, everything that you ever see is happening like this millisecond before it happened, right? So you're always like half a second late to the party. And it's weird because, you know, what happens in that half a second, what is real and what's not real in that little half a second where your brain's processing it. You know, you get to decide. You get to decide. And that's it. You know, it's just, I really just wanted to empower you with that message that you're in control of your reality. You know, if you can take control of your mental state, the emotions that you feel, the pictures that you hold in your mind of what's possible for you, what you're creating, what you're making, and you continue to just brush that paint on there. You know, every day you step out here into the world and you brush that canvas with your paint. You know, you play it with whatever your karate fighting character or a marksman character you shooting, whatever you're doing, you know, you're portraying that into the level and it'll be whatever reality you want it to be. So don't let the world or the perceived world around you push you around. Make it what you want it to be. Don't react to it. Just drive straight forward. You're in control. You're the driver. You're the painter. You're the player. It's all you. All right? And that's empowering. Hey guys, so like I said, I'll just be jamming today on the music videos. I just want to stop by, of course, you know, like I said, every day, just try and give you a little bit of an uplifting message, something I was thinking about, something that can help you on your journey to, you know, creating your business or to, you know, putting your art out in the world. Is just remember, man, you are in control. This is your world. So this is your one life. Live it, love it. I hope you are. Hey, if you need anything from me, if you got any questions of me, ask them in the comments below. I'd love to tackle some of these topics with you guys, you know, in person. You know, if you're confused or you don't understand what I'm talking about, you know, or whatever, you'd like to hear more about it, drop it in the comments, man. Drop your questions, and I'd love to chit chat with you. Of course, like I said earlier, follow me on Instagram at RodThePlanner. Always going down on my Instagram stories. I'm telling you, they're lit, man. I'm not trying to brag. No, a little bit. They're lit though. They're lit. You have a great time. I appreciate you hanging with me every day. See ya. Make sure you hit that subscribe. I am Rod the Planner, and Rod the Planner is good. What's up, guys? Been banging all day on that Keith Harvey music video. Speaking of Keith Harveys or Harveys, you know, as you know, our vlog is down here. We're in Austin, Texas, and Hurricane Harvey is swirling all about down there on the coast, beating those guys up. And so I felt like it was probably a good time for me to stop and talk a little bit about this just situation. You know, it's obviously not affecting us too much. We got power, we got, you know, everything. Life has gone exactly the same as it usually does. We got a little bit of rain, about 3 days of rain. And really the only way I've been able to keep up with this whole idea, like the whole storm and everything, is my parents live in Galveston, of course. So you remember, you look a couple episodes ago, we were in Galveston not even 2 weeks ago, or like last week. So either way, my parents stayed in Galveston, and so I've been staying in constant contact with them. They are fine as well, but Houston is really the area that just seems to be getting pummeled. Well, I'm not necessarily going to talk about that right now, guys. What I want to talk about is our attitudes and what we can do if we are not in Houston. So obviously the people who are there and all up and down the coast, in Port Aransas, Corpus Christi, all of those places, they're extremely flooded, they're without power, they lost their homes, you know, just tragic situations. And I know a lot of us, we feel helpless, you know. We look and we're watching the news and we're seeing all these traumatic headlines and stories of, you know, like I just said, just trauma and pain and people losing everything, and us naturally as humans are drawn to be empathetic towards that. But what I want to talk to you guys today is about easing that tension that you feel, easing a little bit of that empathy that we feel. Not saying not to care, right? That's not what I'm saying. But one thing that you'll know if you watch my show at all is I'm a huge against this. The news, I can't stand the news, right? if you've been watching the news updates and stuff, you gotta understand, guys, that their whole job is more so to entertain, not to inform, right? So they're not there just to give you the facts of what's going on around the world, and in this case, just the storm. You know, they really want to pull at your heartstrings, and so they're gonna show you, you know, the most traumatic scenes, the worst things that they can find. They're gonna show those to you because they want to get, you know, an emotional rise out of you. Why is that a bad thing? Well, guys, you know, like I said, if we're all the way up in, you know, Idaho or Illinois, or we're in New York City, there's not much that we can do for those people, right? And we will get to what we can do here in a minute, but just to sake of argument right now, just geographically, we can't offer those people any assistance. We can't just, you know, pick them up out of the water. So what can we do? Well, I'm going to steal a little bit of these habits from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you've ever read that book by Covey, it's an awesome book. I'll leave a link to it in the description below, but it's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one thing he talks about in that book is having a circle of influence and a circle of concern. I'm just going to call these inf, right, and concern, which is, I'm just going to call that calm. We have these 2 circles, right? What the idea of this circle of influence is, this is things that we have control over, things that are in our lives that we can, you know, reach out and change. So if maybe I don't like what I'm having, you know, for dinner today, I can choose to eat something else. You know, I can go to Taco Bell instead of going to McDonald's. These are things within my circle of concern and circle of influence. I care about what I'm going to eat later, and I can also control that. But sometimes we find things that fall into our circle of concern that isn't quite in our circle of influence. One big one is this hurricane, right? We have people that we really are truly concerned about, we care about down in Houston and in Port Aransas and Corpus Christi, all these places up and down that coast that we really care about, but geographically we can't, you know, help them. Or maybe we don't really have a lot of extra funds on hand right now, and so we can't offer any, you know, monetary relief to them. So it falls out of our circle of influence. Guys, all I'm trying to get to at this point is people who are truly effective with their life and who can, like, live in the happiest states possible, right? And I'm always trying to get us to be living in a happy state, enjoying our time, you know, like I said, being effective with what we do and live, is we have to keep that circle of concern smaller than that circle of influence. Honestly, meaning, just in the short form, care only about the things that you can control. We can't control the weather. You know, we might not be able to control what's going on down there. We can't control whether or not people evacuated or stayed or, you know, whatever the case may be. But by us operating out here, that's what happens, is we get frustrated because we can't help them. Well, out here. You know, we make our circle of concern bigger than our circle of influence. So people who have this backwards, very worried about the people out here, anxious, being stressed in our own lives by all the images that we're seeing on the news, because we're watching the news, because we're worried about this. And we feel frustrated because we can't do anything, so then we turn to dissension and judgment, right? Not because we really are truly like, oh, those people are dumb, but we feel so bad that we're like, well, why didn't they help themselves? You know, now I feel bad because, you know, they're stuck there in the middle of that flood, and why didn't they leave? And, you know, we start just offering a bunch of opinions and just a bunch of things that nobody can do anything with because it's outside of our circle of influence. So, if that's sad to you, right? Which is kind of sad to me right now as well. You know, here I am in Austin, Texas, and I've been able to do very little for those people down there because, well, you know, like I said, I don't have any resources that would really help them at the moment. My big truck is down in Houston, being flooded away, you know, along with any trailer I would have for anybody to live there. So my things, you know, I don't have anything that I can offer to those people. So I haven't spent a lot of time watching the news. You know, I know it's really bad and tragic for those people, but me being in a situation where I just cannot help them, I have to keep that out of my circle of concern. You know, I have to keep that into what I can actually control. But what do we do for those people who are just, we're so distraught, we're like, but man, you know, that's just wrong and somebody's got to help. Well, then for us, our job is to increase that circle of influence, right? This should be a motivational, you know, inspirational act, right? To say, you know what, next time something happens, and something tragic will happen again, right? That's just human nature, it always does, and we go inside, like, something bad eventually will happen again, but this time our circle of influence will maybe have saved up a bunch of money. Maybe we're opening a disaster relief fund of our own, right? And we'll say, hey, you know what? Every month now, I'm gonna just say $5 or $10 of my own money. So that way, if this does happen, bang, you know, it's all up in my circle of concern and influence, and I already got something I can help them with, right? Now we're prepared though. So all I'm trying to say, guys, is don't spend a lot of time watching the news. Spend a lot of time bickering about who should have done this and what should have done that, because obviously if we're talking about what other people should have done, it's outside of what we could have done, right? And so all we can do is control ourselves and what we can do. And so let's use this as an inspiration for all of us, you know, to set up some kind of way that next time that this happens, we don't get caught off guard, right? That we can be in some kind of position. Like I know that this has been a huge inspiration to me, seeing all those people and put out their homes, and me just feeling so close to this and not being able to do anything. It motivates me to want to go that much harder, make that much more of this, so that next time I can have a disaster relief effort of my own, and I can, you know, put up for people to have shelters and just all kinds of things that I want to do. And so it motivates me to work that much harder today, right? Because all I'm doing is working on what I can control. I can't control the storm right now, but I can definitely control how hard I work today, so that next time it happens, I'm ready. You know, that it does fall within something that I can do about it. It doesn't gotta just be with storms, guys. You know, circle of influence, one of the things that is another one that's just on the other opposite side of it that's kind of annoying is politics a lot of times, you know. A lot of us get so hyped. I mean, most people know more about what the president's doing and what his intentions are in his life more than we know what our own intentions are in our own life, you know. So that's just another thing. If we can't control it, you know, then let it be. Because us putting our emotions into it, our focus, our energy, and letting it drain us, you know, is not helping anybody, right? It's not helping us, and it's definitely not helping them. So if we want to help, focus on ourselves, work harder, expand our reach. Whether that means making more money or making more friends or, you know, knowing more people, getting more connections, just things that we can control, so that next time we can do something about it, right? And if it does fall within your circle of influence, well, then I would say that you have a duty to act, and I'm sure you are. So either way, I love you all. We're gonna keep banging. Like I said, we're going triple hard now. Just add that to a goal, a list of things that we want to be able to accomplish, people we want to be able to help in the world. And I know you do too, and that's why we talk about contribution, man. It's always, you know, don't do it for you. Do it for what you can do for everybody else, you know? And that will propel you to go so much harder, so much further than you would have gone, because there's so many people out there that could use your talents, use your help, use your skills, you know, whatever. So, love each other. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe. Like I said, if you are down there in Houston, we love you to death. We're definitely going to be supporting you guys. We'll be making donations. We'll leave a link to where we're leaving our donations, guys. You know, that'll be a hot spot for you to go ahead and drop if you want to add any disaster relief to the efforts down there in Houston. And either way, our prayers go with them, but we have to keep driving on. We have to keep, you know, just trucking on and doing what we can do to help, right? And it's our duty to kind of stay out of the way, I guess, if we can, you know. All right, love you all, guys. Take it easy. Yo, so we've been jamming all day on the computer. It's late, 7:30, tired, but UT's got an event going on, so we're gonna go down there and see if we can start getting some footage for Campus Clever. We're gonna start, you know, banging out our videos, and of course we're gonna start with our hometown here in Austin. So we're gonna head down there and see if we can't mingle with some students, see if we can get some good footage, some good interviews, and just some all-around information about what, you know, student life is like at that campus. And so, you know, like I said, they have this event today. It's Gone to Texas, so it's gonna be nothing but like a freshman kind of orientation party, which is a perfect, you know, I guess place for us to be, you know, as that's our demographic, is new college students coming for the first experience of a new school. So we're gonna go check it out, try and bring some stuff. If we can't get some stuff for Campus Clever, at least we'll get some cool stuff for the vlog, and we'll show you some cool inside scenes at UT. All right, man, check us out. yeah, guys, here's the end of the day. We got some UT stuff, some cool stuff for the vlog, of course. Got some good box pops with some students going to UT. Really excited for those guys, starting something new. You know, we asked most of their responses, like, what are you most excited about this year? And 85–90% of the people, their answer was they want to make new friends, they want to meet new people. You know, guys, that's what it's all about, dude. It's always about love. It's always about sharing, meeting new people, you know, starting new experiences together. Just, you know, it's sharing ideas, sharing culture, sharing love. So go and share something with somebody today, man. That's just all I thought about as I was closing up. You know, I knew it. You know, I got to think of some better questions. But I said, what are you most excited about for this year? And they're like, meeting new people. Everybody always wants to meet new people. You know, hey, love the people you got, meet new people. It's all about people, loving people, us being people. Hey, man, make your dreams come true. It's another night. We out.